What on earth is happening to the Nigerian Super Eagles team? Well, this is a household name and they literally need no introduction. They've won a lot of AFCONs, they've been to a lot of World Cups, and as late as February 2024, they were in the AFCON final with Cote d'Ivoire. On top of that, the Super Eagles team is the highest earning team on the continent, and they're also the highest valued team on the continent. And so, how did a team with so much quality end up winning 0 games out of their first 4 World Cup qualifiers? Well, we'll delve deeper into this issue today. And so, if it sounds exciting, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. The first reason for this has to do with the Nigerian Football Federation, the NFF. Well, for outsiders, the NFF is the parent body that oversees all footballing activities in Nigeria. And so, how exactly did they contribute to this problem? Well, let's find out. After Pozero left in February after the AFCON, it took a significant amount of time for them to find his successor. And what that meant was that whoever his successor would be had very little time to prepare the team or prepare his own team for the World Cup qualifiers. So they ended up with Finidi, and his appointment as the Super Eagles coach came to a lot of people as a controversial one. So up until that time, Finidi was the manager for Enyimba FC, and even up to this day, a lot of people can still not pinpoint what exactly his successes were or what he did outstandingly that merited him to that position. And a lot of people did think that another local coach alternative like Emmanuel Amuneke would have been a better replacement. So obviously, the NFF did underestimate the group opponent in which they are in, and they thought that it was going to be a walk in the park, and so they did not prioritize these key decisions. And I keep saying it, it's 2024, not 1962. A lot of countries know how to play football now, and so if you underestimate anybody, you would have yourself to blame. So in conclusion, the NFF contributed to this problem by delaying on the appointment of a successor for Pozero. Well, the next reason why Nigeria is in the situation in which they are right now is as a result of Finidi. Yes, the coach that I talked about a couple of minutes ago. Now, what exactly has he done? To buttress my point, I'd want you to look at this press conference that he had. And in particular, I want you to pay attention to his gestures and his mannerisms.
I think, yeah, this is football. Um, we can turn things around. We know it's difficult, but we have to win games. Once you start winning games, I think everything is possible in football. So, yeah, players go and rest, come back for the new season, and we'll take it from there.
Now, what does his body language tell you? Does this show that this is a man who's in charge? Does this show that this is a man who's on top of issues? Does this show a man who's capable of inspiring his team and giving them that hunger for success that they would require? Let me ask you, if you were a Super Eagles footballer and you saw a coach like this at the press conference, would you really be inspired to give off your best? What kind of energy would you draw from him? Unsurprisingly, there was some news of indiscipline in the camp, and we'll talk about that in a moment. And so clearly, this coach is not on this level. And that, my friends, is the second reason why Nigeria finds itself in the situation in which they find themselves now. Their coach is just not competent. Now, the third reason has got to do with the players themselves. Now, if you've watched any of the 4 games that they've played so far at the qualifiers, you realize that the Nigerian Super Eagles players are not really playing for the badge. They're not really putting their all into it. There's no serious show of commitment. You'd expect that at the very least they would match the commitment levels that they played the AFCON with, because this is a World Cup qualifier. This is a tournament that is bigger than the AFCON, but no. Okay, now here is a clip from a press conference by the current captain, Wilfred Ndidi.
The group is still open. We still got a chance. There are no small countries anymore in football. Because we're Nigerians does not mean we'll beat everybody. They want to qualify for World Cup as also we want to qualify. So it depends on how we approach the games.
Now, did you hear that statement? Because we're Nigerians doesn't mean we'll beat anybody. That, my friends, is exactly what not to say if you are a captain. Yes, football has changed, as I said earlier on, but you could also be like the Bayer Leverkusen team that went through an entire season without losing. It could also be the French team that literally trashes every team that comes across its path. So why do you even say this as a captain? Not just to your team, but also to the entire world to hear. There were also disciplinary issues that have been reported in this current camp. There were reports of players that arrived late at camp. It was only Lukman whose reason was valid. Basically, Atlanta had a football match to play, and they wrote to the Nigerian Football Federation that, hey, we'd want this player to stick and stay with us. And then after the match, he comes in. There were other players who had at that time been on vacation for about 3 weeks, but still showed up late to the camp. That, my friends, is the definition of indiscipline. And so it's quite unsurprising. I mean, you have a coach that is also looking timid, and you really think that these guys are going to heed to his instructions. I don't think so. What a shame it would be if the team with the highest earners, the team with the most valuable players, do not qualify for the World Cup for the second time in a row. Well, Nigerian football may be a pale shadow of itself right now, but if you want to see some of the exciting moments from earlier in this year in the AFCON for Nigeria, go ahead and click on this video. Else, watch this one instead. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.